Good day, class. I am your first facilitator, and for now, I'm going to discuss about the alphabets of line. But first, let's have our objectives of our lesson for today's discussion. These are the objectives. At the end of the lesson, the students are going to understand the alphabet of lines in technical drawing, identify line types for the alphabet of lines, and construct lines properly on drawings. But before we proceed to our topic, what comes to your mind when you hear the word line? Okay, so line is the most basic visual element and it can be used to define shapes and figures but also to indicate motion, emotion, and other elements. Is it true that lines are important in technical drawing? Yes, all that is important in technical drawing are lines. Lines are important because it represents everything in the drawing. Each type of line has a very precise symbolic meaning. Correct usage of this alphabet of lines is essential whether you use traditional drafting method or CED. Now let's go on to line weight. So line weight is the thickness of the line. Construction lines and guidelines are very light, easily erased lines used to black in the main layout. Next is the visible lines are the edges or outlines of an object. They are drawn as solid lines with thick or heavy weight. Hidden line is used to show surfaces, edges, or corners of an object that are hidden from view. And that's all for my part. I will now give the floor to the next facilitator. And thank you for listening.
Hello everyone. So I am Janklin J. Mapait, your second facilitator for today's discussion. Your topic this time is the continuation of Ma'am Harvey's discussion, which talks about types of line. And she and her discussion and the hidden line, and she already explained it to for us. So, unsa ganitong hidden line is used to show surfaces, edges, or corners of an object. Okay, now I am assigned to discuss the center line, symmetry line, extension line, and dimension line, and leaders or leader line. So I hope you listen carefully so that you all understand my discussion. Okay, I am going to discuss first the center line. So when we are going to say center line, so the thing that comes in our mind is the center, the center of object, the center of a shape or a hole. Okay, so center line is used to show the center of holes and symmetrical features. So, mao na gawa sa Google, as I've searched it, yes, mao na siya gawas nga ang center line daw is the center of holes and symmetrical features. So, it means that it denotes or it indicates the center of holes or circles and arcs. No? So, it is the methods of what? Unsa man siya nga method? So basically, it is a methods of quickly identifying the shape. So, mao na siya ang center line. And center line have it thin and dark. Dark line. When we say thin, it is nipis nga, badlis, nipis nga linya, and it has a alternate line and short dashes. Okay, let's move on to symmetrical line. So when we say symmetrical, and the thing that comes in our mind from the word symmetry or symmetrical, um, it is balance. It is equal, diba? So the definition of symmetrical or symmetry lines says that symmetrical lines are used when partial views of symmetrical parts are drawn. So as you can see in the picture pod, tanawa lang ninyo. So symmetrical, basically, it is a center line, no, with two thick, short, parallel lines drawn at the right angles to it, and both angles, or I mean both ends. So the symmetry line is the line that divides a shape or an object into two equal and symmetrical parts. And the next one is the extension and dimension line are used when dimensioning an object. So as you can see in the picture, the extension and dimension lines. So ang extension line, it is in other word, it is a prolongation or prolongation of a specific object or a main object, or in Tagalog, pagpapahaba. So it is a light line that extends from the edge or end of a main object line on a drawing. And the dimension line, it is a size of an object or sukat. So it is a thin and dark lines used to show the size span of an object. And the next one is the leaders or the leader line. So leaders are used to indicate the part of the drawing to which a note refers. So leaders is used to connect a dimension line with a particular area or point on the drawing. So it is also used to show notes or labels. Okay, that's all of my part. I hope you learned something new of my discussion, which is um, the center line, symmetric line, or symmetry line, extension and dimension line, and leaders or leader line. Thank you and have a good day.
So once again, good morning everyone. I am Rizal Jane Mancao, one of your facilitator for today. I will be the one also to discuss the different types of line. So we're done with the 5 types of line. So let's now proceed. Okay, so let's talk about first the break lines. Break lines are used when it is desirable to shorten the view of a long part. I know all of you here already know and familiar with this. So from the word break, so naputol or naguba, or matawag na to siya nga broken. So break lines are drawn to show that a part has been shortened to reduce its size on a drawing. It is used also to show where an object is broken to save the drawing space. So break lines are also have two variation or come into two forms, which are the long break line, the short break line. The long break line is a ruled thin line with zigzags, and the short break line a freehand thick line. So let's have first the long brick line. It is a thin, solid line that have zigzag to indicate a brick. So as you can see in three-dimensional view and the two-dimensional drawing. So this is the illustration of a long brick line. Sumuro siya og heartbeat sa hospital. It is a long brick might have more than one pair of a zigzag line. So mao ni siya ang porma sa tuang long brick line. So aside from long brick line, we also have the short brick line. A thick wavy line that is used to break the edges of the surface of a part for clarify on a hidden surface. And here the illustration of a short brick line. As you can see, the bold represent a broken part or cut off. So mo ni siya ang porma sa ang atuang short brick line. So these two brick line are used to remove or break out the part of a drawing for clarify and also to shorten objects which have the same shape throughout their length and may be too long to place on our drawing. And next is the visible line, a thick line that represents the visible edges or outline of the objects, and also known as object line. So visible line and object line is just the same. So I have here an illustration of visible line. So as you can see, mao ni siya ang porma sa ato ang visible line. Mura siya og normal nga line pero baga siya. Kita ra gid kaayo nato siya. Kani sad siya is it should stand cut clearly in contrast to other lines so that ang shape sa usa ka object is apparent or hayag siya sa mata. So next is the cutting plane line. So cutting plane line. Thick lines used to indicate an imaginary cut through an object along the line. It made up of tall long dashes broken in one end with an arrowhead and two short dashes thrown in between the long dashes. So this is our cutting plane line. Kani siya. Mo ni siya ang ato ang cutting plane line. So if makita ninyo, pareha sila og porma sa hidden line. Kani siya. But ang ilang kalahian is ang kaning cutting plane line nato is naa siya'y arrow sa isig kakilid kani siya. Kaning duha. So kaning cutting plane line, it made up of two long dashes broken in one end with an arrowhead. So it is used to designated where imaginary cutting took place, and here is where a part is mentally cut in a half. Kani siya diri. Para makita gyud nato ang interior detail. So as you can see, both lines are drawn the same thickness as visible line. So pareha siya kabag-on sa atoang visible line. So ang gusto ipakita sa ato ang cutting plane line is unsa gyud ang itsura or unsa gyud ang porma niya sa sulod. And this is also our visible line. Kani siya. And again, kaning naay arrow sa tunga kani dinhi adapit kani mao ni nga to ang cutting plane line, which shows the part has been sliced to make the section view. So mao ni ang direction in which you are looking at the sectional view. So that's all for my part. I hope you learned something, and I will give the floor for the next facilitator.
Good day, class. This is Shella May Mediana, your last facilitator. Okay, so let us now move on the next line, which is the section line. So section lining is used to indicate the surface in the section view imagined have been cut along the cutting plane line. Section lines are medium lines drawn at 45 degrees, used to show interior view of solid areas of cutting plane line, to indicate the center of circle and symmetrical features. The picture there shows what is section line. So just observe what is it. Oh, it's like slanting line, no? Section lines are thin cross-hatching lines used in sectional views to symbolize different parts of an object or different materials from which object is manufactured. So now let's proceed to viewing plane line. Viewing plane line is used to indicate direction of sight when a partial view is used to identify where a view is taken for view, enlargement, or for partial views. It also indicates the plane from or where a surface is viewed, so it is used to define an auxiliary view. If the line were projected through the drawing sheet to create a plane, this plane would define the view. The viewing plane line is displayed on the drawing sheet to show the orientation of the auxiliary view in relation to the principal view. So that's it for viewing plane line. Let's proceed to the phantom line. Phantom lines are used to indicate alternative positions of moving parts, adjacent position of moving parts, and adjacent position of related parts and repetitive detail. So phantom lines is long line followed by two short dashes used to show alternate position of moving part, 'di ba? From long, short, and short, long. So most often used to show the travel of movement of an object or a part of alternate positions. It can also be used to show adjacent objects or features. So that's it for our report. Thank you and God bless us all.